I don't know, you guys are feeling a little bit distant here. Can everybody pull, I hope I'm not breaking any rules, but can everybody pull their chairs up like 6 feet? Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully I'm not going to disturb the filming too much by doing this, but we are here. Yeah. Now I can see your faces. Reality is not a given. It is given, but it is not a given. And here I just remembered that, and I'm like, hold on, I don't have to, just accept the way that it is. I can, change it, maybe. And my first, but it's funny, like my first impulse was to ask permission, and to like look around, okay, who's in charge here? That is a really deeply ingrained habit. And it's not always a bad thing, to show respect to the host. But that impulse wasn't actually coming from respect for the host, much as I do respect the host. It was coming from a habit of permission seeking, which is something that has been revealing itself a lot to me in the last few years. Some words I'd like to share with you from the author Ursula K. Le Guin. Only in silence, the word. Only in dark, light. Only in dying, life. Bright the hawk's flight on the empty sky. Say it again. Only in silence, the word. Only in dark, the light. Only in dying, life. Bright the hawk's flight on the empty sky. Do you understand that? I hope not. I hope not completely. I hope that there's a little bit of a question mark there. I think that we need to learn right now to be more comfortable in not understanding things. Over the last few years, we've seen the results of people facing uncertainty and defaulting into lockstep with obsolete belief systems and ways of seeing the world that lead to reiterations of the same patterns of solution that are actually the cause of the problem. To enter into a new story requires crossing an in-between space of not knowing. So on the schedule, it said that I am supposed to be speaking about sacred economics. I'm not sure how that got there, but that was a book I wrote a long time ago. But really, the core of sacred economics is the power of word. The power of word. Because money is nothing but symbols, ultimately, that we invest with meaning and invest with value. You know, the Ah, you know what? I had this idea to talk about this, and I'm just not sure if it's quite the moment. I was going to talk about fiat, which really means to speak something into existence, which is really our primary power as human beings in a social context. Like I just spoke into existence the chairs moving through an act of fiat. Maybe I will, I don't know. And like I was just, sitting in the, through the presentations this morning and just thinking like something different is necessary right now. How do I know that? Just like tuning into my level of excitement about lecturing about something. And I'm like, no, I'm not really there. We're too excited about that right now. So instead, I'd like to tell you a little story. It's about a event that I attended, but it wasn't really an event like with this particular tribe. I went actually to the territory of another tribe, of another culture, actually, really another culture. And it was a gathering though, similar in nature to this one. And outside of the gathering space, they had erected a temporary shrine, like an extra shrine, that you had to pass that shrine before you came into the inner shrine, and then you had to pass that shrine before you entered the actual gathering space. So it was, and usually in this culture, you only have one shrine, but they added a second one, this outer shrine. And the outer shrine, everybody had to do a ritual. And then it was a divination ritual. And then you would take the results of the divination to the inner shrine, and only according to the results of that divination would they allow you to enter the sanctum. And so the nature of the divination ritual was essentially they would take a little magic wand and moisten it with your body fluids. And then they would put it into this like mystical device that would give a reading. And the reading would determine whether you were possessed by an unclean spirit. And if you were possessed by the unclean spirit, then you wouldn't be allowed into the sacred space. So I was, I mean, for one thing, like also like a lot of people were wearing ceremonial headgear, which I wasn't wearing. So I was already feeling a little bit, anxious about this. And then so I was like standing next to my friend, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do this, divination ritual to see if I'm possessed by an unclean spirit, which involves sticking a magic wand up my nose and then like giving it to a shaman who is going to do a divination on it and tell me if I'm possessed. I'm not going to do that. Like, and I mean, I'm all about respecting indigenous cultures, and when I go to a place, I usually will at least, perform some of the rituals and respect the taboos of this culture. But at some point, like sometimes, like certain body ritual especially, I'm just not willing to do. So I said to my friend, I'm not doing that. And he said, well, that'll be interesting. Because as we entered the inner shrine, where they do the ritual of in the inner shrine, the ritual that they do in this particular culture is they ask for your name, and they have this list of those who have performed another ritual of typing numbers from a sacred chit that everyone carries with them. I have one in my wallet actually. Here, I'll show you mine. See, this is the sacred chit here that we have, and everybody has a sequence of sacred numbers on their little sacred chit, and you type those numbers onto a screen, and then you are granted access. So in the entry ritual, I know it's really complicated, but to understand primitive cultures, you have to really understand their rituals. So they check your name according to this list, and then they give you a necklace that hangs from your neck, and you have to wear that necklace. I mean, sometimes they also stamp your hand. They give you a temporary tattoo, but they give you some kind of badge that communicates to the unconscious mind of the superstitious natives that you are entering a different space. So, okay. So anyway, there I was, standing in line next to my friend, and every single person, they're like, can I see your COVID test? Can I see your COVID test? Can I see your COVID test? And I'm just stepping one step at a time forward, and I get to the woman there. She looks at me, and she says, what's your name? Charles Eisenstein. Yep, you're on the list. Go ahead in. I was the only person that she didn't ask. And then afterwards, I was making all kinds of meaning about this. And what I came to, why maybe there's a mundane explanation, because she knew me by reputation and didn't want to because I was not going to do that. And it would have been, a messy situation. And people like to avoid conflict. But I'm not even sure if that's really the explanation here. By the way, does everybody get my little joke here? Okay, yeah. But isn't it amazing? Well, maybe I should finish my story first. Yeah, so what I noticed, though, was that when I said, I'm not doing that, it was in the spirit of making a declaration of truth.